Esho President Loas IT, when I deny her access to my private ranch, calls the cops. That can't be serious. Open the door immediately or I'll have you arrested. Marlene's Wirt, the HOA, chairman of Willow Creek Estates, flew out of her when she stood red hot and shaking like an exploding water cooker in front of the locked entrance of my ranch. Behind her were two other members of the board, lying down and insecure, with a plate and iced coffee. While I stood upright behind my fence, my arms were crossed, and my stance was held. No ma'am. I said calmly and looked her directly in the eyes. This is private property. You are not welcome here. At this moment, Marlene lost control. She really lost control. She patted her dry gravel with her hands, turned around and shook her phone like a sword. That's it. I'll call the police. They'll be taken away in handcuffs, you arrogant housekeeper. Housekeeper. I almost laughed. I lived on this property for almost 7 years. Identity tests, tax evasion, even self-built barn photos, everything was there. But all of this was Marlene's fault. In her eyes, everything belonged to a circle of 16 kilobers of her precious housekeeper association. Even when my ranch was legally outside the borders of the housekeeper association, she was shaking her phone. An enemy man occupied illegal land, and she immediately demanded a policeman for house peace and indifference. The two other members of the association turned back unharmed. At this moment, I saw the flashing lights coming down the hill. I'm starting, she said seriously. Would the police officers tear me off my own land? Before we come to that, what happened next, I would like to put you back a little. My name is Jack Harrison. At the age of 42, retired fireman, I live on a ranch in North Arizona. It's not huge, but it belongs to me. A good 8 hectares open field, horses, chickens and a lot of peace, until Marlene pulled down the street into the HOA, and decided that she was the queen of everything that was visible. At 50, Marlene Boyd rides a pearl white SUV, as big as a boat and hides her face behind big sunglasses. She was elected president of the HOA last autumn, and since then she behaves like a sheriff in an old western. Rules, regulations, inspections, even for houses that do not belong to the HOA. And somehow she had convinced herself that my ranch was under her control. I remember 3 months ago, when a new builder paved a nice road, which connected the HO area with the main road and ran right behind my ranch. Since then, HO members use my backyard as a runway, and their dogs even do their business in front of my veranda. One day, even a child drove his dirt bike directly through my garden. I put up signs with the inscription, "Private property prohibited." I installed cameras. I even built a new steel gate with a lock, but Marlene didn't let that happen. She left a letter in my mailbox, in which she wrote, I would object to the renovation regulations of the municipality. Renovation. That is an underdeveloped ranch, not a golf course. First I ignored her. I sent her a polite letter with my well-known property limit clearly outside the OA. She wrote back, the map must be outdated, and you will be introduced to an inspection next week. This inspection was the stunt you saw at the beginning of this story. This morning I fed the goats when I heard how the tires were crunching on gravel. Marlene approached me with 2 members of the board, aiming at my goal, as if of